veil of ancient ferns hangs a masterpiece of engineering, a colossal sphere of paper woven from thousands of layers of chewed wood pulp, a fortress suspended in the void. The surface is alive, pulsing with tireless activity. The workers of Vespa Affinis reinforce the outer shell with mandibles stronger than the timber they harvest. This is not just a home dot, it is a stronghold. Deep within the hexagonal chambers, the future of the empire is nurtured. Workers deliver protein to the pale, demanding larvae, receiving a drop of energy-rich fluid in a vital exchange. At the gates, discipline is absolute. The sentries verify the chemical identity of every arrival. In this kingdom, no stranger is granted passage. A fleeting moment of peace allows the warriors to tend to their armor. They groom their antennae and wings, keeping their weapons honed for the battles to come. Suddenly, the earth trembles. Dust rains down from the canopy as the very foundations of their world begin to shudder. A force of nature is approaching. A shadow swallows the sunlight. A pillar of scaled flesh, massive as a tower, crashes down beside the nest. The Titan has arrived. The alarm rings through the colony. Thousands of wings vibrate in a deafening warning. Abdomens curl, revealing the venomous lances, ready for war. The gates open, and the aerial legion launches. They ascend like a cloud of angry sparks, targeting the rough hide of the invader. They strike without mercy. Every worker becomes a living missile, driving their stingers deep into the Titan's armor, pumping venom with suicidal fury. The beast thrashes, generating a hurricane that scatters the defenders. But the wasps hold on, a relentless swarm denying the Titan any ground. Under the sheer weight of pain and numbers, the invader breaks. The shadow retreats, driven back by the combined will of the colony. As the dust settles, the roar fades into distance. The surviving warriors return, landing heavily on the walls they fought to protect. The adrenaline fades, wings fold, and the colony takes a collective breath, assessing the cost of survival. But there is no time for rest. The workers scan the fractures in the hull, shifting instantly from soldiers back to engineers. Wood pulp is applied to the breaches. The fortress is rebuilt, layer by layer, standing defiant against a world that seeks to crush it. High in the tropical canopy, a massive structure hangs suspended. This is a colony of Apis dorsata, the giant honeybee. Thousands of workers cling together, forming a living protective layer around their single, exposed comb. They maintain this cohesion through a behavior known as festooning. Worker bees interlock their legs to form chains, creating a tensile mesh that secures the colony against the wind. This curtain is active and dynamic. Individual bees adjust the angle of their wings to circulate air, precisely regulating the temperature for the sensitive brood developing deep within. On the rough bark nearby, a solitary figure emerges. It is a scout of Oecophila smaragdina, the weaver ant. Her antennae sweep the surface, detecting the faint chemical signatures left by the hive. The scout tests the perimeter. She uses her mandibles to probe the wax deposits and even the legs of the outer guard bees, assessing the density of the defense. The guard bees detect the pressure. They orient towards the disturbance, raising their forelegs and vibrating their antennae to signal an alert to the immediate cluster. The scout returns with reinforcements. Following a pheromone trail laid by the scout, a column of weaver ants advances along the branch, moving directly toward the hive's resources. The predation attempt begins. The ants bite the legs and wings of the surface bees, attempting to pull individual workers away and break the festooning chains. The wall withstands significant tension, but as workers are forcefully removed, small gaps appear in the protective curtain, momentarily exposing the vulnerable comb within. In response, the colony activates a coordinated defense mechanism. Thousands of bees flip their abdomens in a synchronized sequence, creating a visual ripple known as shimmering. This rapid motion disrupts the visual tracking of the predators. Confused by the shifting pattern, the ants hesitate, unable to target individual bees effectively. For intruders that penetrate the outer layer, the defense becomes thermal. A cluster of bees surrounds the ant and vibrates their thoracic muscles, generating lethal heat that eliminates the threat. The raid loses momentum without a breach. The weaver ants disengage and retreat along the branch, leaving the hive structure secure. Worker bees immediately repair the disturbance. They pull their legs together, closing the gaps and re-establishing the continuous surface of the curtain. Order is restored. The colony returns to a state of quiet vigilance, a massive structure suspended in the fading light.
On the scorched surface of a forgotten relic, a discarded, rusty bucket, a colony of Asian honeybees has established a thriving fortress. Inside, vertical wax combs anchor firmly to the corroded metal walls. Here, workers engage in trophallaxis, a vital exchange of nutrients that sustains the entire colony. Deep within the sanctuary of the brood chamber, nurse bees meticulously scan the cells. Their sensitive antennae detect even the slightest fluctuations in temperature, critical for the developing larvae. But suddenly, a shadow falls across the entrance. A paper wasp scout arrives, hovering in the shifting air currents, tracking the irresistible scent of honey and brood. The guard bees instantly detect the intruder's chemical signature. In a synchronized wave, they raise their abdomens and expose their mandibles, a clear warning posture. The scout probes the perimeter, testing for weakness, but it meets a solid wall of defenders. It marks the location with pheromones and retreats, leaving the colony on high alert. The scout returns, and this time, it is not alone. A heavy raiding party descends. Their powerful mandibles begin to tear at the wax entrance, widening the breach with terrifying efficiency. The honeybees launch a desperate counterattack, but their stings cannot penetrate the wasp's thick chitin armor. The larger predators simply overpower the guards through sheer physical force. The outer defenses crumble. The invaders breach the brood chamber, slicing open the capped cells to extract the helpless larvae within. Chaos spreads through chemical alarm signals. Direct combat has failed. The colony must shift tactics to survive. Instead of stinging, they bait a trap. They lure a single wasp deep into their numbers. Suddenly, dozens of workers engulf the predator. They grasp its limbs, its wings, and its antennae, forming a tight, living ball that completely immobilizes the threat. Inside this suffocating sphere, the bees vibrate their flight muscles rapidly. This action generates intense metabolic heat, turning their own bodies into a biological furnace. The core temperature soars past 46 degrees Celsius. The wasp, unable to regulate its body heat, overheats and asphyxiates. Yet, the heat-tolerant bees survive the exposure. With the immediate threat neutralized, the workers drag the lifeless bodies of the invaders to the edge of the nest and discard them into the abyss below. Damage to the comb is repaired immediately with fresh wax. The colony engages in communal grooming, a necessary ritual to remove the lingering scent of alarm pheromones. Order is finally restored to the rusty fortress. Foragers resume their flights into the sunset, securing the resources needed for the colony's enduring future.